Imagine it's a Sunday afternoon, you're scrolling through your super app and you notice a small line item that's been quietly leaving your balance for years. That's your default insurance premium, life, total and permanent disability, often income protection, switched on automatically when you turn 25. It never touches your pay. It comes straight out of your super every cycle, on cover you never actually chose. Stick with me, because in a moment I'll show you the number that reframes all of this. If you've never looked at this before, that's not a failure. Most people are never told it's even there. You're one of millions of working Australians carrying this default cover, and the average premium is about $300 a year, according to the Productivity Commission via MetLife. Some people pay up to $2,000. Over a whole career, that drain becomes real money in your retirement. Today, I'll walk you through 3 simple moves. Audit what you're paying. Kill any duplicate cover and match your insurance to your actual life. Here's the number that should make you sit up. The Productivity Commission found that default insurance premiums inside your super can cut your final balance by as much as 14% over a working life. That's modelling cited by MetLife from Rice Warner. And here's the part most people miss. That's not just the premiums themselves. It's the premiums plus decades of investment returns those dollars would have earned if they'd stayed invested. That compounding loss is the real story. So here's your plan, and it's genuinely simple. 3 moves. First, audit your premiums and how much cover you're actually holding. Second, kill any duplicate insurance sitting in old accounts. Third, match your cover to your dependents and your debts. Each one takes under 20 minutes, and every single one is free. Let me show you exactly how the drain works first. So how does this actually work? When you join most super funds and reach age 25, the fund automatically adds default cover, life, TPD, and often income protection. The key thing to understand, those premiums don't come from your take-home pay. They're pulled directly out of your super balance. ASIC's MoneySmart is refreshingly blunt about it. It's convenient, sometimes cheaper than retail cover, but it reduces your retirement savings. And because you never see it leave your wallet, the cost stays almost completely invisible. So how much are you actually paying? Default premiums average about $300 a year and can run as high as $2,000 per the Productivity Commission via MetLife. Now here's a benchmark worth knowing. The industry's own good practice guidance, quoted by Australian Super and AMP, is that your premium shouldn't exceed 1% of your salary and shouldn't erode your final balance by more than 10%. The trouble is, left unchecked, default premiums can blow straight through that and reach 14%. But here's where it gets more complicated. Now here's the second layer, and I want to be honest with you, this cuts both ways. Default cover is often the wrong size and duplicated. Rice Warner estimates a family with parents aged 30 needs around $561,000 of life cover and $874,000 of TPD per parent via MetLife. But ASIC's review of 20 MySuper products found the average default life and TPD cover for a 30-year-old was just $420,000. So you could be underinsured for your family and still overpaying. And if you've had more than one job, there's a good chance you're paying twice. Before the reforms, people piled up multiple accounts, each with its own default insurance quietly ticking away. Even now, if you've got several active accounts, you can be paying multiple sets of premiums. And here's a figure worth sitting with. Treasury found that on average only 43 cents in claims came back for every premium dollar paid, back in their 2009 review. The rest went to costs and leakage. The longer you leave it, the more compounding you lose. Let me bust the myth that keeps so many people frozen. The myth is, insurance in super is basically free because it doesn't come out of my pay. The reality? It comes straight out of your super balance, reducing both your savings and the returns they would have earned. That's ASIC MoneySmart's own wording. ASIC says it plainly. It reduces your retirement savings. Over a career, that's up to 14% of your final balance per MetLife. Free it is not. Let me put the two costs side by side so you can see the gap. On one side, the average default premium, about $300 a year, up to $2,000 for some, per the Productivity Commission via MetLife. On the other, the lifetime hit, 14% of a projected $600,000 balance works out to $84,000 per MetLife and Rice Warner. And remember, only 43 cents of every premium dollar ever comes back as a claim. Now let me show you what this looks like for a real person. Let me make this real with someone you might recognize. Meet Sarah. She's 35, a full-time marketing manager earning $90,000 a year. She's got $70,000 in a large industry MySuper fund with default life, TPD and income protection. There's also an old account from a previous job that still gets the occasional contribution, so its insurance is still active too. Sarah had never looked at any of it, and what she found is exactly the kind of thing that might be sitting in your accounts right now. Discovery 1. Across her two funds, Sarah is paying a combined $600 a year in premiums, roughly twice the $300 default average from the Productivity Commission via MetLife. On a $90,000 salary, that's 0.67%, already creeping toward the 1% ceiling the industry itself calls the upper limit per AMP and Australian Super. And she never consciously chose any of it. If you've got two accounts, this could easily be you. Discovery 2. And this is the flip side that catches everyone off guard. Her cover amount is actually below what experts say she needs. ASIC's review put the average default life and TPD cover for someone her age at about $420,000 via MetLife. Rice Warner's adequacy estimate for a parent is over $1.4 million combined. So Sarah is underinsured by roughly $1 million, while still paying hundreds a year for the privilege. Overpaying and underprotected at the same time. Discovery 3, and this is the one that really stings. Using that 14% erosion figure on a projected $600,000 balance, Sarah's current settings could cost her $84,000 by retirement, per MetLife and Rice Warner. The industry's own acceptable limit of 10% would be $60,000. That means she's on track to lose an extra $24,000, purely because nobody ever prompted her to review her cover. And here's the encouraging part. Here's the headline for Sarah, and this is where it gets hopeful. If she keeps paying $600 a year for 32 years, and instead redirected that at a 5% real return, those premiums alone are worth about $41,000 in today's money. That's my own estimate. Add the loss compounding and the higher premiums that come with age, and the total drag lines up with that 14% hit. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars, and it's recoverable. So, could this be you? Here are 3 quick signs. You've never opened the insurance section of your super statement. You don't actually know how much life or TPD cover you're holding, and you haven't checked whether an old fund is still quietly charging you premiums. If even one of those rings true, and for most people at least one does, the next 3 moves are exactly what you need. So where does all of this leave you? You don't need to overhaul your whole financial life. You just need a few specific, practical steps you can start today. 3 moves. Let's walk through them together. Move 1. Audit your premiums and cover. Log into your super funds portal or app and download 2 things: your latest member statement and the product disclosure statement. Open the insurance section. Note the cover types: life, TPD, income protection, the sum insured, and the annual premium, which is often shown per week. Then do the quick maths against your salary. Just remember, this is general information, not personal advice for your situation. Here are 3 quick steps to make move 1 easy. 1. download your member statement and PDS. 2. Open the insurance section and read your cover types, sums insured and premiums. 3. Add up all premiums across all your accounts and divide by your gross salary. What good looks like? Premiums at or below 1% of salary, and erosion kept under 10% of your final balance. If you're over that, don't worry. Move To often fixes it. Move To. Let's hunt down any duplicate insurance you're paying for. Sign into MyGov, link the ATO online services and open the super section. This is the official government list of every super account in your name, and it often surprises people. Check each one for active insurance. If you find cover you don't need, pick your primary fund, cancel the duplicates and consolidate. But never drop cover you still rely on without replacing it first. 3 simple steps for Move To. 1. Link ATO online services in MyGov and open the super section. 2. Check each account for active insurance and premiums. 3. Cancel the duplicates and consolidate into the fund you've chosen. What good looks like? One main account with one deliberate, chosen set of policies. No accidental double premiums draining you in the background. Move 3. Let's match your cover to your dependents and debts. Use a reputable insurance needs calculator. Many big funds provide one for free, as a reference against Rice Warner's estimates of around $561,000 in life cover and $874,000 in TPD per parent via MetLife. Compare that to the sum insured on your statement. Too much cover for your situation? Trim it. Too little for a family and mortgage? Adjust the mix deliberately. 3 steps for Move 3. 1. Run a needs calculator for your dependents, debts and income. 2. Compare the result against the sum insured on your statement. 3. Trim any excess cover or deliberately adjust the mix if you're underprotected. What good looks like? Cover that's consciously aligned with your actual life, with erosion kept under 10% of your projected balance. That's the whole goal here. Why does this matter right now? Because the rules have quietly shifted around you. In 2009, Treasury's review found only about 43% of premiums came back as claims. In 2019, the Protecting Your Super package switched off insurance on accounts inactive for 16 months unless you opted in. That's APRA. And from 2020, default cover was restricted for members under 25 and balances under $6,000. The system changed underneath you, which is exactly why reviewing your remaining cover today is worth the 20 minutes. Once you've acted, here's how to check it actually worked. You should see only one set of premiums across your statements. Confirm your sum insured matches the figure your needs calculator gave you. And if an old account was showing cover, make sure it's now properly cancelled. These 3 checks take 5 minutes and give you real peace of mind that the drain has stopped. Everything I've shared today is drawn from solid sources: ASIC's MoneySmart, MetLife's analysis of Rice Warner modelling, Treasury's review, and APRA. This is general financial information only, not financial advice. Superannuation rules and thresholds change regularly. Always check with a licensed financial advisor or the ATO before making decisions. All the links are below. If you've made it this far, you now know something most people with super genuinely don't: how default insurance quietly shapes your final balance and the 3 moves to take control of it. The next step is simple. Open your super app this week and find that insurance section. If you want to go deeper, next I'm breaking down the hidden fees inside your My Super default and how to spot them fast. So here's your one action for today. Before you close this, open your super app and just look at the insurance section. That's it. That single glance is more than most people ever do, and it's where taking control begins. I'm Alex, and I'll see you in the next one.